Hey everybody, welcome to COVID Quarantine 2020. My name is Chris Coriel and I'm here to document the decades of success stories that are in my head and what I call pivotal moments, because to me that is the interesting part of how somebody's night job becomes their day job and how they take their side hustle and turn it into a billion-dollar industry. Usually doesn't happen alone, and it just doesn't. Sometimes it happens by accident. So I've been sort of a student of all of the industries we know and love today, especially the tech industries. But there are some non-tech ones out there that have some interesting stories as well. So what I want to do is document them here, and with the purpose of hopefully educating everyone who's going down the entrepreneur path. And who knows, maybe you'll find something interesting out of all of this, and it'll keep you going and inspire you, because they inspire me to keep going. And a little about myself, among other things, including a day job, I founded an apparel line called Christopher J. Apparel, and our purpose is to create clothes for the modern lifestyle. And what I mean by that is to create eco-friendly, sustainable clothing made domestically in the United States, while creating quality products that are made that feel good, fit good, and look good. This shirt right here is called the Manhattan. Manhattan started its life as the perfect men's undershirt, and kind of grew up a little bit and is now a great just regular overall t-shirt that you can wear out. You can wear it to work out in. The fabric tencel is just something that is out of this world when it comes to its qualities. It's even compostable, so even after you're done with it, and if you throw it out, which I hope you never do, it'll go back to earth where it came from, because it started its life as a tree. It's a wood fiber, and yeah, the process is eco-friendly, the material is eco-friendly, and it is one of the best, I think, fabrics out there. We're making an entire line using this fabric, as well as making the products well engineered and fixing some of the pet peeves I've had with not only menswear, but we're making some women's as well. So look for that, ChristopherJApparel.com. All right, enough about that. Without further ado, let's get right into it. My first pivotal moment I'd like to talk about is goes way. We got to take the Wayback Machine to the mid '90s, before Google and Yahoo and some of the others that you may know and are thinking of. We have to go back to talk about a man by the name of Mr. Marc Andreessen, and what he's known for is creating the first application, which we now call a web browser, that allowed us to browse the web using early internet technologies like HTTP and URL. The HTTP Hypertext Transfer Protocol and the Universal Resource Locator, otherwise known as the domain, which you type in the address bar today and take for granted how easy it is to peruse the internet. Before that, you had to either directly connect to a computer, like in war games, if you remember the Whopper, or you could use, there was a text-based browser called Gopher, and it was more menu-driven and not very intuitive. So unless you were very technical and into computers, it was not something that the regular public would use like they do today. So going back to Mr. Andreessen, in college, he was working, let's see, gotta look at some notes here, the National Center for the Supercomputing Applications, NCSA. So they created a application that could browse the internet, and they called it Mosaic. For those you remember, the NCSA Mosaic browser, him and a full-time employee by the name of Mr. Eric Bina created this and co-developed this application, which got out on the web. And there's a famous quote that, yes, it is on Wikipedia, but I want to quote it here because I think it's pretty great. After this was released, it says, "In the second generation, Marc Andreessen and Eric Bina developed NCSA Mosaic at the University of Illinois. Several million then suddenly noticed that the web might be better than sex." Little did he know it was also hosting a lot of sex. So Bob Metcalf, InfoWorld, August 21st, 1995. I think that's an awesome quote. So while he developed that in college and left college with that in his resume, that was not his pivotal moment. That is yet to come. So he moved to California in 93, it looks like. And while he was in California, a man by the name of Mr. Jim Clark, who had just exited a company founded called Silicon Graphics, meaning he sold it for lots and lots of money. So he took some of his riches and saw the potential for this browser technology. So he partnered with Marc, and they founded a company called Mosaic Communications, which the University of Illinois was not very happy about. So they quickly renamed it to Netscape Communications Company and put out the product called the Netscape Navigator, which was the first web browser that I guess you'd call it commercially available. And by then, this was mid-90s. There were already some companies out there, I believe. I don't remember when Yahoo started, but that was 93, 94 as well. So those were kind of the first landing pages that people had. And if you remember, Yahoo used to have all of those blue links of places you could go and click. So they basically created a hot list online. So after they created the company, they IPO'd, and boom, Marc was worth instant $150 million plus, and launched him into the public eye and on the cover of Time magazine. I remember reading that article. I remember him saying, "Oh, the only difference between having the money and when I was in college is I have a nicer car and a bigger house." Well, that's pretty awesome that it didn't change him, at least back then. And that quote has stuck with me since then, so that was pretty interesting. And then while at Netscape, they were bought by AOL for $4.3 billion in the 90s, late 90s, so worth much more than the $4 billion of today in 2020. And after that, he stayed on a bit as CTO, and then went and founded another company, which I distinctly remember going live on September 1st back in the day, called LoudCloud. LoudCloud was basically a company to help you get on the internet. So it was the first AWS, let's say. It was the first cloud computing company where you could host your website. Probably they helped you with development to build a website and a company, and you were off and running. He found that with a few partners, and then they were sold to EDS and then Hewlett Packard in 2007 for $1.6 billion. So him and one of those partners, Ben Horowitz, went off and founded what they now know, or what we now know as Andreessen Horowitz. And that is one of the major players in the venture capital world out in Silicon Valley. And he is still part of that today, and it is still going strong. And he is on the board of many big internet companies, and is a major player and influencer in the Silicon Valley area. Well, in the tech area, across the nation, I should say, not even just Silicon Valley. All right, so that's my first pivotal moment. Mr. Marc Andreessen and Jim Clark founding a company, putting out Netscape, changing the way we browse the internet, and basically launching the tech boom. And there are many to go. I think the next one would be great to cover should be Google, because that was soon after that. That was 1997, I think September, because that's the month of my birthday, so I always remember that when they launched. And in between, there are others, but Google has a great pivotal moment story that I find fascinating. So it's literally just somebody knowing somebody, introducing them, and providing a check. And that check launched them into actually being able to start doing what they were doing and growing it, and voila. It's now the ubiquitous search engine in the world, and nobody can take them down, or at least hasn't. There's been attempts, Mr. Bing. All right. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If you find this useful, please comment below and subscribe. All right, stay safe out there and take care until next time. Peace out.